Like it's an actor. Like it's in the fucking game. It's an actor. Alright, why doesn't object have actor in real form? I mean, maybe I need to make an actor, like a blueprint class that is an actor. Select that and make this my scene capture actor. How many times you gotta update the damn file in Perforce? And if we just like drag the scene capture thing on here, then we can just throw the scene capture on top of it and just be like, yeah, awesome. So we'll just save that, compile it, and so we just take this scene capture here, we get rid of it, and then our scene capture actor, we just throw it out there, and then our actor has tags, so we can do it that way. Okay, Jesus Christ. Sometimes I hate living. Ah, give me a break. Why can't I move? Let me see here. Well, it at least found these things and set their positions. Let's see, is there collision? Collision preset, we should have no collision on these things. Okay, that just looks ridiculous. But I think we're making progress, so I'm going to save all these things real quick. And what we want is, it needs to be up in the z-axis by a bit, doesn't it? Like, set it like 200 in the z for the actual snag of that stuff. And we should actually set a very specific z for the capture camera in the background, as far as I can tell. Let's just give it like, 600 on there. Okay, so we're actually, yes, we are actually making progress. Like, we have our window into the world. So, what can we see through our window? The answer is we can see a bunch of blurry crap. Let's see if we can make it blurrier. It needs to, if it's going to be an HD game, we need gray textures, we need grays, we need browns, and that's about it. Okay, yeah, so I changed the wrong thing. Like, the funny part here is we actually need to set the background camera lower. Which is just hilarious when you think about it. Because we want to... if you're thinking about it, like, the reason is, like, the camera is over here, the camera's here, and it's looking at these mountains, and if we set the camera lower, then these mountains get higher up on the texture. That way they won't be cut off by this intermediate thing, this foreground piece. Yeah, so that's looking like what we want it to look like, isn't it? Like how the trees are all getting rendered behind the mountains. So this thing needs to be 1500. Current position plus maybe 2500. Alright, we need to scale this thing up too. And then we're going to basically need the aspect ratio to be something. So set camera FOV. It's like FOV for this camera. And basically what we do need to do is we need to set the scale of this thing, and the scale needs to be set let's have float base is gonna be like 30, and it's gonna be basically base. I think it was 0 and then base times aspect, something like that. And then we just say M camera aspect is aspect. Actually, it's probably going to be the other way around. So what this should do is it should, we're going to size this texture to the size of our screen. This quad should perfectly match up with the extents of the screen. If we've got the right, it's not the right starting scale, we're going to have to do a few things. Well, Perforce hasn't completely broken itself in the last like 4 hours, so that's looking up. If that's true, then I spent a lot of time doing a whole bunch of stuff just for no real reason. Yesterday was a very bad day because I was trying to debug what the hell was going on with Perforce and SSL and everything else. And spent like 3 or 4 hours. Upgraded all the Jenkins plugins, and screwed around with all the things. And at the end of it, I was like, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. Like, there is absolutely no explanation that or why connections are dropping between Spokane and Virginia. There's just, I cannot explain it. You know, it's like there's something wrong with the world. So you stare at the wall, and you know, you look at your router, and you're just like, is it plugged in? Like, is it? You know, after screwing around with all the code, you're just like, you look over, and you're like, oh, the robot's not moving because I unplugged the battery. Oh, Jesus Christ! You know, it's one of those moments. But I didn't have a smoking gun, that sort of thing. Whoa! Look at that. That is totally screwed up. That is not correct whatsoever. So what is going on there? What? Yeah, okay, so I should be scaling the Y. What was going on, I believe, was horrible things. Like, what I think was happening was the thing was getting moved forward. It was, the object was being scaled so that we were actually only seeing the quad, and so we were like looking through our camera at the quad, which was rendering like ourselves. Crazy shenanigans, and it would be like, it wouldn't be the current frame, it would also be like the past frame. So we're looking into the past. And if we change our aspect ratio, does that quad? Yeah, the quad gets smaller. Well, that's starting to look like what we kind of want the game to look like, isn't it? Like, I mean, just imagine, you know, super awesome HD textures and the rest there. But that's starting to look a lot more like what I think we're going to be wanting. Is, you know, that could be a full 3D background with a nice, you know, amazing star field like that in the background, right? Something like that could definitely look cool. And if you didn't realize what I just did there, you can actually let me get rid of this bar here. And what happens then if we play? I need to move that camera down, I think. Or angle it up. Well, the thing is, it can be a full 3D scene back there, so like we can do whatever we want to that thing. Alright, so that's 30, then we need more. We need more. I wonder how high quality that render target actually is. Whoops. Because it's looking like it's really not that high quality. Maybe it's the render target itself? Yeah, the render target itself is... looks like a low resolution. So if we increase this to like 1024 by 1024, and then we save it, and we play. Oh yeah, see, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Oops. Is it just me, or does the lighting look odd? Looks like it's in shadow, almost. Yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of a pain in the ass to look through this camera. Alright. Trying to reposition this thing so I can... because the lighting is screwing this thing up, and the reason is because of the position of one of these things. But basically what that means is we can use the global lighting and all that cool stuff, and it'll totally work in the background, right? So if we've got the like time of day coming through and like some super awesome lighting or something in the background, we can do awesome things. Like we can have something come from the background, and as long as it then came from like above the screen down after it got close enough, We could totally have like something in the background jump into the foreground. Look pretty baller. So the camera follow vector, we're going to want to be up in the Z. Why don't we do that real quick? And we're going to want to change the size of that render target at runtime, because we want it to be, you know, the size of the screen in terms of pixels, not just like some arbitrary big ass number. Otherwise, we're going to see artifacting. Oh yeah, 500 is nothing. What am I doing? We don't want 500, we want like 2000. And I really need to start data driving some of these things with like the camera and the rest there, don't I? I'm an idiot. I'm staring at the axes on the wall. And I still don't realize. I'm like, oh yeah, Z is up, and then I enter the Y for God damn it. I mean, the other question is, obviously we shouldn't be able to see over those hills based on those sorts of things. So what if we left the Z of the, oh, we already are, we're setting the scene capture is the current position plus nothing. Actually, we need to set effector pause is going to be current position plus this effector, and then like pause.z equals 0. So basically that should lock it so we never move those mountains up and down. They just move left and right or whatever. What is this warning us about? Yeah, we should do that. We'll just take a look at what it looks like. Ugh. Yeah, that does not look right. I mean, does it look right? That's... It's not correct. We do want the camera to move, but we actually need those things to be that far away for it to look right, right? So we actually need, we actually just need to like set it to the position +0 of this object, and we need to set these things off in the distance to, like, we need to actually make these things at realistic distances in order for them to look right. That's what it seems like. So I need to like throw them way off in the distance. Not that far off in the distance. Oh, give me a frickin' break. Where I can't move the damn things. I can't move. Yeah, that looks better. Now why is this? It just looks odd. It doesn't look correct. Why is it? What is it that my brain is not liking about this. I mean, it looks correct when we're running. When we jump, something's just wrong. So what's wrong with it? There is something wrong with it. I mean, that's obvious, but there's something wrong with the motion of this thing. It's like we've got the background, but in the left and right looks fine. Like when we run to the left and right, that's the kind of motion that we want. I think it has to do with when we jump. When we jump, we can like see so much more in the background. You know, like there's something wrong with seeing more in the background. We shouldn't see more hills. We should what the hell is it supposed to look like? So what are they doing? In old school games, they're just moving it backwards and forwards, and the camera, let's see what happens when they go up too far. I guess they're not moving the camera up, so it's not an issue. But they've also got this big foreground crap here, which is obscuring everything. Yeah, what looked correct there? Why does that look good? What did they do? They didn't move. The background didn't move at all. Cause like yeah, when they're going up and down here, like they just don't move the background. But the background also. I mean, is it just that we don't have anything in our level here, and as a result, it just feels really cheap and shitty? And if we had something that it would actually look okay, is that what we're dealing with? It's that we have nothing coming into the foreground to make it look like there's something there. Is that our camera sucks? Just that we're jumping way too damn high and we have no frame of reference. Maybe these things just need to be bigger, maybe we need more stuff here. Ah, Jesus. Screwed up everything, didn't I? God damn it. Screwed up every single one of these things. Because this selecting tool sucks! Ah! Why is this such a pain in the ass? It's like, come on, editor. I mean, that's maximum speed with the editor, and it's still just... I don't want to select the fucking sky sphere. I just want to select everything along its axis. Did we get them? I can't fucking move the camera. What in the fuck is this? Okay. This editor sometimes is just awful. I'd like to select that, please. Thank you. Well, that is floaty as all hell. Yeah, sometimes the camera speed's just too slow, other times it's too fast. It just feel like I'm editing everything wrong. annoying. And why can I not? I think it might have to do with the background here, with this abrupt line between that we have. Can they see anything more? Like, when they get down there, like they're covering it up. There's not much more to see though. It looks like the problem is our terrain is too flat. Like we need... It can move horizontally just fine, but... Alright, well, fine. Let's experiment with something else. I mean, we're going to be building. We're probably going to be building a lot of it by hand, right? I mean, it's a platformer. It needs tender love and care. You can't just spit out a bunch of random awful levels. It just won't be fun. So yeah, we'll be putting together every level by hand. That's, you know, for sure. But I mean, we'll make much better tools than like the shit I'm dealing with right now. You know, where we can like create a nice little thing and then we can stamp it all over the place. That's usually what people do. Anyway, what I think I'm gonna do here is I would like to I need a big 3D landscape in the background. Where in the hell is the landscape? Why can't I see it? Jesus Christ. I do not know how to use this thing. So we're like selecting a place, and then we assign a material. It's just through basic wall.